Whew. Well guys, it's been a while. I haven't posted a video in over a month for those of you guys that follow me. And today in this video, I'm going to talk to you guys exactly about what's been going on and also installing a Anvil notched 6th gen carbon fiber spoiler on the ZL1. So stick around and enjoy the video. That is loud. Yes guys, the ZL1 is still here, and honestly it hasn't even been touched since the last video. I haven't driven this thing in over a month and a half, and that is because I've had some stuff going on personally in my life that I do not wish on anybody. But again, before we get into all of that, I want to go ahead and say thank you guys to each and every one of you guys that support the channel. Really appreciate it. We're over 6,000 subscribers now and growing. Thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. And if you haven't subscribed and you enjoy the videos, make sure to hit the like button, consider subscribing, and hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date with all of these videos. Now, the ZL1, guys, amazing car. Most everyone knows what the car does and what it is. It's just an intake, headers, and tune, and runs a 10.0 at the track basically. Really great car. I love the car. It's been very neglected, but there's a reason for that, and that is because a month ago yesterday I lost my father. He passed away, and so that's why there hasn't been many videos, guys. Life hits you and hits you hard, and sometimes you gotta kind of take a step back and, you know, reevaluate everything that you do and what's going on in your life. Now, these videos for YouTube, guys, I only do them for fun. I don't do them to try to make money. I don't do them because of the potential of all the income and all that. All that's secondary, and it's great. I do these videos because I want to try to help each and every one of you guys that might be considering cars like these. That is why I make these videos. I started off with the Camaro SS, now we've got the ZL1, and today we're actually going to be installing the Anvil notched 6th gen spoiler, but in carbon fiber. If you guys remember the Camaro SS, I actually had the same spoiler, but it was just gloss black. It wasn't a carbon fiber piece. So let's go ahead and give it the cold startup and see if it actually still runs. Woo! Yeah. The headers made a huge difference with the sound, guys. This thing is way louder now. Finally got this thing out of the garage, guys. Again, super dirty, but like I mentioned, we've got carbon fiber bits all over. Carbon fiber there, carbon fiber here, in the wing, the doors, and little bits in the interior. And now we're gonna have a carbon fiber wing in the back, which is gonna look super nice. Now, while this thing is warming up, guys, I do want to say happy holidays to each and every one of you guys. And videos are not going to stop, guys. We are going to still have videos coming. Again, with what's been happening personally with my family, I'm taking some time off, the holidays, everything. But come January, guys, we have a lot of stuff planned with the ZL1. We still have to go to the dyno and see just how much power it's making with the headers now. We've got a ported blower, bigger throttle body, and we're going to be doing a fuel system to try to run a little bit more E85 on this thing, and hopefully we'll get that 9.8, 9.7 second pass, guys. That's pretty much what we want. That's what we need, and that was the goal all along. But anyways, so let's go ahead and get that Anvil carbon fiber spoiler wing. And here we have it, guys. Again, the same design as what I had in my SS, but this one is in beautiful carbon fiber. Oh yeah. And it does come with the hardware you guys see here, and these foam pads, which are good for making sure that, you know, everything is nice and covered. This carbon fiber work is amazing, guys. It is really nice. Now the bottom is actually a gloss finish, so it looks like they basically just leave this top exposed and do this in exposed carbon and then paint the bottom black. Okay, so first step is, of course, removing the old wing, guys. Now this wing does have kind of rubber seals around there and here, and here we've got 3 points of contact. I do have the rear camera on this car, guys. This is a 2019, and of course the Anvil notch spoiler does not have the camera there, which is a bummer, but that's okay, because what we're gonna do is actually end up moving this rear camera from the back of the wing here, and we're gonna be putting it up on the top. So we're gonna be replacing that shark fin with the integrated camera. Because it's right at the back here, it actually looks very zoomed in, and I think it is much better placed in the shark fin, gives you a little bit wider angle. So either way, that's going to be done. But of course, the two ends of this side here are mounted in by screws here on these pop rivets, and these kind of just pop out, and you can see the two nuts there for those two ends. And then the same thing on this side. And for the middle section, we're actually gonna have to remove this tail lid cover. All right, so these are 10mm nuts, guys, all the way across. Pro tip, you don't really need this extension, that's just what I'm using, but you basically want to go ahead and loosen up the nut completely off the stud, but do not remove the socket. Leave the socket in place and actually while the socket's in place, bring the lid almost parallel down to the ground, and then slide the nut with the socket out. If you don't do that, you risk losing the nut in the holes in the trunk lid there, and that can be very difficult, almost impossible to get out. So definitely recommend doing that. And for these middle ones here, guys, you don't have much space, so a little ratcheting wrench actually works really well here. There's really no risk of losing the nuts here, so you're good there. So and just like that, it is out, guys. And you can see here on the bottom side, this is why you need a heat gun. You can kind of untake all this double-sided tape that's from under the wing there. Now we of course use these two holes here, and I went ahead and put this all back in here to help seal up any kind of water ingress. The middle section came out pretty good. You have the two, and then where the camera mounts, and then of course in the back, this one didn't kind of completely come off, but we're only using these two and there's still enough seal there, so we're good to go there. Now I will say, these middle holes, this third hole here, guys, on either end, that is for the little clips here, these white clips. They do have these little side wings that kind of hold it in place, but a little screwdriver, and you kind of press down as you're pulling up. Of course, the camera module is here. Now what we got to do, guys, is completely wipe down everything here, completely clean it, degrease it, make sure there's no contamination, so that we can sit the new wing in properly and it won't have any debris or anything under it. So again, there's the heat gun that I use. Definitely recommend it. If not, you're going to be struggling for a long time trying to kind of pull up and potentially damage or crack your stock wing. Check it out. This is pretty awesome, man. I love that carbon fiber. The Anvil 6th gen notched wing just is by far, hands down, I think the best wing you can get. I love that notch in the middle, and in this carbon fiber, whoo, yeah, that looks sick, guys. Definitely better than the stock wing, and it should be actually a little better for airflow as well, I would think. But in any case, it looks beautiful, matches the carbon fiber there. Unfortunately, we're gonna get rid of that carbon fiber, but now it's just a matter of putting everything back. Right here in the middle, guys, you are gonna have to flip over the seal a little bit, and you can kind of tell, maybe, I'm not sure, but it doesn't extend as far as the other wing did. So yeah, we're gonna have to probably try to do a little bit of ceramic coating along this edge here, because yeah, you can definitely tell, not a big difference, but if you look up close, it does make it, you can tell that where it's been ceramic coated and not. But now it's time to do the nuts on the bolts. Now it does come with 2 studs and nuts already, and I'm using this magnetic tool to help me push everything in and line it up. And one cool thing is, guys, with the magnet you can actually stick the nut right in and use the magnet itself to thread the nut in to make sure that you don't drop it, because of course, like I mentioned, you'll never find it. So all right guys, so I've tightened everything down and it looks beautiful. Now again, it has the alignment studs with the nut, but it still also has the holes for the rest of the screws. So we're gonna go ahead, and it does provide you the hardware, so we're gonna use these and install those in the bottom 2 so that it can stay completely secured and ready to go. And up here in the middle section, it's actually kind of off, so they're not perfectly lined up. The wing is right where it needs to be, so we're not really gonna have any anchors in the middle, but that should be fine. This thing is nice and flush and pretty sturdy. So in the middle, definitely it needed a little better alignment, but other than that, we'll get the 2 ends done and we're done with the install. Okay, everything is back up to normal. I actually got rid of the track numbers. That's how much I haven't even driven this car. But check out the back end, looking really nice. Oh yeah, gotta love the angles of this wing, guys. Definitely enjoyed it in my SS, and I'm going to enjoy it on the ZL1. Now I'm gonna go for a nice little drive, enjoy it, and talk about just basically a little more personal about me and my dad, and just do a little tribute to him, and basically talk to you guys and let you guys know just how great of a guy he was, give you guys a little bit of his story and how far he came and why he's such a big inspiration for me in my life and the stuff that I want to do. Effectively, this is the end of the video. If you guys want to stick around and hear a little bit about my dad, you're more than welcome to. I would appreciate it. But if not, thank you guys for joining and watching the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Well, for those of you guys sticking around for the drive, I am going to be putting this thing in sport mode and enjoying it a little bit, and also, like I mentioned, talking about my dad and just his life, what a great man he was and how much of an inspiration he was for myself, and just let you guys know who my dad was and, you know, kind of where he came from, what he did. I think this is a great way to show tribute to him. He was a great man, 57 years old, so very young, but in that very young, short period of time, he managed to do a lot. Definitely will always be a motivation for me and inspiration for me, because he did so much in his short amount of time and really enjoyed life to the fullest, never having any regrets. So, my dad was born in Mexico. I am the first generation born here in the US, and he basically came from nothing. And when I mean nothing, I truly mean nothing. He had to do and endure things that I never would have ever dreamed of having even been a possibility of people having to endure growing up in the, you know, household that I had, and with my dad giving me everything that he didn't want me to go through because of what happened to him. So it was a small rural town in Mexico, the biggest city almost an hour away. So he grew up very, very humbled, very pretty much without any ambition of wanting more and more, because there didn't know what was out there. Back then there wasn't TVs, there wasn't things like that, so you know, they were happy with what they had, but he always knew he wanted to do more. And he walked to school, elementary. They would walk 6-7 miles. They had a donkey that him and his other brothers and sisters would kind of take turns riding to go to school. He didn't have his first pair of shoes until he was 6 years old, at least a new pair of shoes, until he was like about 6 years old, graduating elementary. And you know, to have come this far in such a short amount of time shows that really anything is possible if you set your mind to it. My dad always said, you know, you don't need to be a doctor, really high, you don't need to be a big shot, you just need to be good at what it is that you do. In Spanish él decía, no tienes que ser doctor, no tienes que ser médico, no tienes que ser nada. Si eres barrendero, nomás con que seas el mejor barrendero. Basically, find a craft, find what you love, and be the best at it. And that's what he did. He always led by example. And he basically went on to become, arguably, in my eyes, the best welder that I know, that within all his peers. He was always the first one called to jobs. He was always the last one to leave in jobs. And that is what really motivated me to do what I wanted to do and try to be the best at it. So, like I mentioned, he was a welder. And in this great land of America that we live in, you know, a lot of things going on and people trying to be political and all that. Look, at the end of the day, people come here for opportunity. People come here to make something about themselves. And the U.S. system, the way that it's built, lends to having the opportunity. You don't get that anywhere else. In this great country, you can, if you do things and dedicate yourself to the right things and put your efforts in the right areas for yourself and not for others, then you will come out winning. That's what my dad did. He focused on himself. He focused on being better and growing better, and he went from not having much to having pretty much whatever he wanted. He, in this 57 years, I can truly say 100% that he left without a single regret, without having not done one thing that he really wanted to. My sister got married in October, and that's what he always said. He always mentioned that, you know, he would always mention that all he needed was to see that my sister was going to be taken care of, and that she was going to have somebody to help take care of her, And this thing, wow. That all he needed was someone to know that my sister was going to have someone by her side to help her and take care of her. And any day after that, he was ready to go whenever God wanted. And unfortunately, it didn't take him that long. 2 weeks later, you know, he passed away. God granted him everything he ever wanted and more. Really, really, like I said, an inspiration to me, a motivation to go out there and reach for everything that I want, and for me, for my family, for everybody, and that there's nothing is impossible. But the only impossibility is the one that you put upon yourself when you put that roadblock and talk things negatively. Always talk positively and think about everything that you do, because that's ultimately our mindset is our downfall. So if you are always positive and think positive, you know, focus all your efforts in the right positive areas, you will come out winning in life, just like my dad did. So I just want to say, you know, thank you to my dad for being, you know, the best dad anybody can have. He really did truly, you know, show me what it means to be a dad, best to make him proud. So, if anything, I hope my dad's story is a story that inspires people to go out and chase their dreams and never say that something's impossible. I mean, you see it every day in life. You see it with a lot of these athletes, a lot of these, you know, from rags to riches stories. Look at athletes. Look at Kobe Bryant. He said he wanted to be the best of the best, and life rewarded him for it. When you decide to try and focus on yourself and be the best of the best at what you do, life will reward you for it. So find out what it is that you like, what it is that makes you happy, and do your best to be the best at that. But anyways, guys, with that being said, I thank you guys for joining me and listening to me talk about my dad. It's not going to be easy, but I know that he wouldn't want us to bloom and sit down and mope and, you know, be sad. He would want us to take his advice, his lessons, his experience and his example, and do the best we can with it for ourselves and for our families. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video if you've stuck around. That being said, I'm gonna go ahead and give this car a couple rips, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.